It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Tuesday, January 31st, and this is the Morning Star Drive on 117.8. We're on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe, follow us on SoundCloud, and make sure to support us on Patreon. So what is happening on this wonderful Tuesday? We've got current news from around the world, the practical word study, and of course, Provi in the media. All right, everyone, how are you doing today? Hope you guys are enjoying your week. We're in the meat of the week. Monday's over, and thankful for all of you guys joining us here on the Morning Star Drive. Keep liking and commenting. If you're in front of your phone or your laptop right now, just click that like button or leave a comment below. Would love to hear how you're doing. Or click on someone else's comment on their comment, or like their comment too. If anything else, the one thing we want to do is build this community. So a couple days from now, we do have Q&A Thursday. I've already got one question that just came, or two questions already that came in. And I really hope that you guys keep sending in your questions. Lots of things to think about. A lot of questions that we have nowadays. And it's, Q&A Thursday is one of our most popular segments every week. So I enjoy it a lot, and it really racks my brain sometimes. But really good questions. And I think these are questions that if a lot of people heard them, they're like, oh, I was thinking about that too. Or it's like, oh, I never thought about that, but that's a great question, right? So go ahead, write your questions in, DM me, leave in the comments, whatever it is, and definitely we'll get to it on Thursday. Today is the last day of January, right? So last day of January, the 31st, and of course for us on the Morning Star Drive, this is the GGG month. The entire month we're doing GGG, and we have a special song today for you guys too, and I'm so happy because it's from the Philippines. I've been asking for Philippine singers, and they have a ton of good ones over there in the churches, so I'm very excited about the last day of GGG. It's very, very, what's the word? It's very meaningful to me, right? Having this 1 month of GGG. And also for the songs we're going to play for the member artists, they're all from the GGGs, right? So we're going to play some 3 songs today, a lot of requested songs too, and I hope you guys will really enjoy that one also. It is also like you know what? Actually, I got to tell you guys about this. Yesterday, man, for 2 days, Saturday, yesterday, for 2 straight days, it was like I couldn't get any sleep because there's fireworks going off at like 12 midnight for like an entire hour, just going off on and on and on. I don't even know how they spend this much money on fireworks, but it's like day 9 of Chinese New Year. I don't understand why you're celebrating for this long. And I'm just like, so what's going on with Chinese New Year over here in Malaysia? They're like, oh, it's the New Year for Hokkien people. I'm like, can't everyone just kind of get together and like decide on one day? Isn't that a lot easier? Like, I don't understand why the Lunar New Year makes sense to me because that was something how people celebrated in the past. But then like you had the New Year of Hokkien people is like 9 days after. I'm like, I don't understand this. And the only reason I'm a little bit perturbed by it is because I can't sleep. I just keep hearing fireworks. I see the lights flashing in the window, of all times, midnight to 1 a.m. I'm just like, wow, it's going on so long. And I go to shopping malls everywhere, all the other places in Malaysia. Just everything is decorated in red, and the god of money is everywhere. In the malls, taking pictures with the god of money. I should have done it too myself, but I'm sick of seeing red decorations. I really am. Those red lanterns, I'm sick of it. I really, really am. I sound like an old man just complained. Not even my parents complain about this. So, yeah, well, speaking of my parents, it's the last 2 days. Today is the last day with my parents. It is the last day. They leave on Wednesday early morning. It's an 8 a.m. flight, so we have to leave from the pre-dawn because they have to be there by 6 a.m. So I'm going to spend my last day well with them. And tonight, going to be meeting some BF members from the Malaysian church. So very, very excited and happy about that too, for my parents to meet them, to see how cool, amazing, and normal we really are. But I would say there's something very interesting because it's been like 3 weeks being with my parents and just having an amazing time of vacation. I really, really look forward to this too. And when I look at this, I'm just like, man, all things come to an end in this world. This world is so temporary. Everything comes to an end. And this is why this world is not a place you want to live in eternity, like for eternity. Nothing lasts. And I was thinking, like, man, everything's so fast. This vacation went by so quickly. Think about it. It's already the last day of January in 2023. We're already done the first month of 2023. Like, don't you, like, I already remember all the stuff we did for 2022, just preparing for this. Even before that, being in the middle of a pandemic, like I was just in Bali, Thailand, and Vietnam, and it feels so long ago already. And whether it's good or bad, everything ends, right? And I thought to myself as, wow, this is a place I don't want to live for eternity. Nothing lasts, right? And of course, we might say to ourselves, but Pastor Scott, when you think about it, at least the bad times will eventually end too. But I thought to myself, it's like, yeah, that's true. It's true that at least the bad times don't last. But on the flip side is, even the good times don't last. And it made me think a lot more about why it is that we should be thinking about heaven and how great heaven is and how we should want to leave this place. We shouldn't try to be holding on to this place when our time here is done. I'm not saying just go leave now and kill yourself, anything like that. What I'm saying is when the time is done, you should want to leave this place. And I think we need to if we change the way we think about this world, like, yeah, this is a great place. There's a place that God has given to us to train and make ourselves, but it's not a place you should be here eternally. And if we change the way we think, then our preparation will no longer be for the near future. And ultimately, we need to prepare for leaving this world, right? And we should, I thought it was like, wow, this is a place I don't want to live eternally. And there's no need to stay here longer than I really need to stay, right? Right now, I'm fine. I'm still in my 40s. I probably have another 20 years before my health starts to really, really deteriorate and I can't do the things I want to do. But I was like, man, I got to get, this is not, as time goes by, not only do the the good times end, but like it includes my health, how I live, how I am, all these things, right? Like I don't want to be 100. Like imagine what your health is going to be like at 100. Imagine you lived here forever in your physical body. What would you be like at 200? What would your health be like? My back would be completely a circle, right? Because I'd be hunched over. I'd have to roll around, right? I'd be rolling around like a little ball, just rolling around. I have to eat everything through a tube or whatever. I'm just like, nah, this is not the place I want to be. So I was thinking about that because my vacation is ending so quickly and soon my parents leave. So that's something that I was thinking about. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Comment on this, what you guys think about this also. Also, today is Provi in the media, so we will go over the next trial coming February 13th. It's only 2 weeks away, exactly 2 weeks away. And let's review what is coming our way and what to pray for, what we should be thinking about for the future. Poll, how many people have evangelized their parents? And it's about right. It's about 11% so far that have actually evangelized their parents or the parents have evangelized their children. And 14% are still in process. So we're about a quarter of 14% of the people plus yes is about a possibility of 25%. A quarter of the people having their evangelizing their kids or their parents. And then 22% says it's complicated, and I understand that too because it's very complicated with my parents also because they know everything. And I evangelized my cousins and my brother, and they all left. And, there's a lot of big stuff that happened because of that. And then about 54% have not yet evangelized their parents. Like they're not in process at the moment. So very, very, it's very telling. And that's just, I think, how many people have actually done it? It's at this point, there's only like 37 people who have done it. So if you guys haven't seen the poll yet, go ahead and write down in the poll. All right. All right. So let's get this last day of GGG started with today. Well, there's no featured artist of the day. These are 3 songs that were played during the time and people sent in their GGGs. And the first song we're going to play is going to be Andrew and Dina. Andrew's from the Sumney Boys and his wife. Dina, they just bought their new house, so congratulations to them. And they have a great song called Meet Me in the Middle. And they wrote this song just saying, don't rely on God to fix everything, but you need to meet in the middle, right? So you have to do your actions to solve the problems. You have to trust in God to solve problems. And in the same way, the relationship with the husband and wife is the same. You can't just rely on the other to solve the problem, but you have to meet each other in the middle. So it's a great song there. And then we have Jacinda from Canada wrote this song when she was a newcomer. You're My Heaven is sung by PB. And then last but not least, of course, this is one that's probably been the most requested. This is Umbeat from New Zealand, and that song is The Moment.
Turn the lights down low, 'cause we don't even have to go outside no more. Where the rain is pouring and it's thundering outside. When your love goes cold, even if you feel like you're all by yourself, I'm with you always. I'm not leaving by your side. Rain or shine, I don't mind, 'cause I will always find you. Sometimes I wanna hide, but you will always find me. So let's meet in the middle. So let's meet in the middle. Yesterday is gone, look at what we made. There's still more to go, don't let your love fade. You're always in my heart, always within reach. Stormy skies are clearing, stormy hearts are calming. Keep going like you tell us, until the end you teach us. Change yourself and make yourself great every day. If you rise above your problems, then you'll change your fate. But I don't gotta worry, 'cause I'll never be late. Rain or shine, I don't mind, 'cause I will always find you. Sometimes I wanna hide, but you will always find me. So let's meet in the middle. So let's meet in the middle. Rain or shine, I don't mind, 'cause I will always find you. Sometimes I wanna hide, but you will always find me. So let's meet in the middle. So let's meet in the middle. It's you I dream of, Lord. I long for your embrace. With love you've led me here, ever thankful for this grace. Let me feel you, Lord, I pray. Fill my heart with your heart. Let my spirit in yours embrace. In the passion of your fire, my bridegroom, break me, heal me, restore me, my Lord. Please make of me your masterpiece, a bride of love and joy. Oh, my love, shape me, perfect me, free me from my sins. Let me live with you forevermore in your kingdom. I just wanna be your eternal love. You're my heaven. I know I've hurt you, Lord, brought you pain beyond compare. I failed in many ways, your heart I rip and tear. But Lord, you've shown me grace in every circumstance. You've forgiven my disgrace. You gave me one last chance to
show you that I love you. I need you. I thank you, my Lord. I long to be your hands and feet, a bride of love and joy. Oh, my love, to know you and feel you. You're my everything. I just wanna be your eternal love. You're my heaven, my love. I wanna show you how I love you, how I need you, my Lord. I long to be your hands and feet, a bride of love and joy. Oh, my Lord, I love you, I miss you. You're my everything. I just wanna be your eternal love. You're my heaven. I love you, Lord, forevermore. Holy Son Jesus, my bridegroom. I love you. You're in me, I'm in you, my bridegroom. I love you. You're in me, I'm in you.
Day by day, God looks down upon this world He made, searching for anyone who seeks His face, chin resting in His hands. Each day He looks with hope, each day to no avail. So many people like sand upon the shore, countless as stars, yet He loves them each like there's no one else. This unrequited love, does anybody know? Can someone understand? Today again, God searching, chin upon His hands, while nobody looks back at Him. But then He thinks He might have seen a face, look back in search of His. Those eyes meet God's weary eyes, ever searching, and God is taken by surprise, and the Father is so moved and overwhelmed, tears begin to flood His eyes. Today again, God's searching, chin upon His hands, while nobody looks back at Him. But then He thinks He might have seen a face, look back in search of His. Those eyes meet God's weary eyes,
on this last day of giving glory to God in January for the Morning Star Drive. That was Umbeat from New Zealand with The Moment, and that song was based off Life of the Righteous poem that Sunsi made. Before that was Jacinda from Canada. She wrote this song when she was a newcomer, sung by PB. This song is You're My Heaven. And of course, that first song was Andrew and Dina from America. That song they made together as a husband and wife is Meet Me in the Middle. All right. So let's get into some news going on around the world. And of course, is super important, especially for the brides of this history who had the responsibility to pray and repent for the world. So we need to know what's going on in order for us to really pray for the world in the best way, right? So let's start off with NATO. And one of the biggest news that we're trying to figure out is will Turkey block Sweden's NATO membership? And Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has suggested that Ankara may agree to Finland joining NATO, but not Sweden. He criticized Sweden's refusal to extradite dozens of people allegedly tied to Kurdish militant groups and other critics of his government. And he says, if you absolutely want to join NATO, you'll return these terrorists to us, said Mr. Erdogan. His comments come days after Turkey suspended talks to accept the two Nordic nations as members. The move was prompted by a series of controversial protests in Stockholm, including one during which a copy of the Quran was burned. Swedish officials have condemned the protests, but defended the country's free speech laws. In response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Sweden and Finland applied to join NATO last year, ending decades of military non-alignment. Their application must be unanimously approved by all current NATO members, but Turkey and Hungary have failed to ratify their bids. In his speech, Erdogan suggested Turkey might now give a different response concerning Finland, adding that Sweden will be shocked. We gave Sweden a list of 120 persons and told them to extradite those terrorists in their country. And if you don't extradite them, then sorry about that. Sweden has a larger Kurdish diaspora than Finland, and its talks with Ankara over NATO membership have been heated. Turkey has called on Sweden to distance itself from the Kurdistan Workers' Party, the PKK, which is regarded as a terrorist group by Turkey, the US, and the EU. In response, Sweden approved the constitutional amendment which allows it to create tougher anti-terror laws demanded by Turkey. Both Sweden and Finland have also lifted bans on the sale of military equipment to Turkey, introduced after Ankara's military intervention in Syria in 2019. But Turkey has heavily criticized Sweden over recent protests in Stockholm. And of course, one was by a Kurdish support group which hung an effigy of Mr. Erdogan from a lamppost. And earlier this month, Erdogan said Turkish elections have been brought forward by a month to May 14th. Now, Helsinki's Foreign Minister Pekka Haavisto has since suggested the pressure of the looming ballot has caused discussions to become heated within Turkey and that negotiations should be paused. The diplomat also stressed his country should join at the same time as Sweden, appearing to backtrack on his earlier suggestion that Finland could be forced to join without its Nordic neighbor. So that should be quite interesting to see whether Turkey and Hungary will turn around and allow them to come in. In second news, Israel, we talked about what happened over the weekend in Israel, attacks from the Palestinians to Israel. And now it looks like Israel is going to speed up gun applications after the attacks. Israel's security cabinet has approved measures to make it easier for Israelis to carry guns after two separate attacks by Palestinians in Jerusalem over the past 2 days. The attacks took place after an Israeli army raid in the occupied West Bank killed 9 people. The new measures also include depriving an attacker's family members of residency and social security rights. The full cabinet is due to consider the measures on Sunday. Now, the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had promised a strong and swift response ahead of the Security Cabinet meeting. Israel's army also said it would be reinforcing troop numbers in the occupied West Bank. Now, basically they said when civilians have guns, they can defend themselves, right? This is kind of the controversial far-right National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir, who told reporters outside a Jerusalem hospital. The measures will revoke the rights to social security of the families of terrorists that support terrorism, the Security Cabinet said. The proposals are in step with proposals from Mr. Netanyahu's far-right political allies who allowed him to return to power last month. The announcement came after Israeli police said a 13-year-old Palestinian boy was behind a shooting in Jerusalem's Silwan neighborhood on Saturday that left an Israeli father and son seriously wounded. An Israeli police force spokesperson previously said the assailant ambushed 5 people as they made their ways to prayer, leaving 2 in a critical condition. The 13-year-old was shot and injured by passersby and is being held in hospital. In a separate shooting on Friday at a synagogue in East Jerusalem, 7 people were killed and at least 3 more injured as they gathered for prayers at the start of the Jewish Sabbath. The gunman was shot dead at the scene. So the man behind Friday's synagogue attack was identified by local media as a Palestinian from East Jerusalem. Police have arrested 42 people in connection with that attack. So, this is one of the worst attacks that's happened in a lot of years over there in Israel. And Palestinian militant groups praised the attack, but they didn't say that they were responsible for it. So, Netanyahu called for calm and urged citizens to allow security forces to carry out their tasks, while the military said additional troops would be deployed in the occupied West Bank. So, that's a great sign too. Don't take the law into your own hands, from the Prime Minister. But wow, it's going to be pretty tense. Yeah, because even before that, there were 9 Palestinians, both militants and civilians, who were killed during an Israeli military raid in Jenin in the occupied West Bank on Thursday, too. So this was followed by rocket fire into Israel from Gaza, which Israel responded with airstrikes. So this something really needs prayer. And it obviously it's more significant when it comes to the history of God, because these are the people from the Old Testament time, right? And God still blesses them in some certain ways, but they're still going through this constant war. And according to the scriptures, it's because they did not accept the Messiah, the Prince of Peace, right? And that's why there's no peace. Either way. Last but not least, let's go to the third piece of news. We're going to go to Pakistan, as more than 50 people have died in 2 Pakistan incidents unrelated. Okay? So at least 41 people died when a bus fell into a ravine and caught fire in the southwest, while in the northwest, at least 10 children drowned in a boating accident. All the dead recovered so far at the lake were aged between 7 and 14. At the bus crash site, a local official said the bodies were beyond recognition. The crash occurred near the southern city of Bella when it was traveling to the port city of Karachi, and local officials told the news agencies that 40 bodies were found alongside 3 injured people, one of whom died shortly after. The 2 remaining survivors were in serious condition. The bus reportedly hit a pillar on a bridge before the crash, and the boat capsized on Tanda Dam, a lake near Kohat in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, close to the border with Afghanistan. And local police officials told the news agencies that as well. As well as the 10 who died, 11 children had been rescued, with 6 in critical condition. Another 9 are believed to be missing. And the boat they were traveling on was carrying more than 24 people on a day trip from a local madrasa or Islamic school when it overturned. So prayers go out. Yeah, 10 children died in that boating accident too. And of course, over 40 died in that bus accident. So our prayers go out to all of them over there. A lot of things we need to pray about so that we get God's protection over these people also. Okay? So that's the news around the world. And guys, if you notice that my voice is a little bit nasally, it's because my nose is so stuffed for some reason. I think it was my trip to Gunting. So cold up there, raining, and I think from that point I kind of got the sniffles. But yeah, that's why I'm very, very nasally at the moment. Either way. Let's get to some sporting news. In tennis, Australian Open, Djokovic back on top, down under, and he wins the Australian Open. He climbed into the Rod Laver stands to celebrate his 10th Australian Open Championship and record-tying 22nd Grand Slam title Sunday, and after jumping and pumping his fist with his team, he collapsed onto his back crying. And as a bonus, he is now vaulted to number 1 in the world, a spot he already has held for more weeks than any other man in history. In second news, NFL Divisional Playoff Championships, they went on all day. Winners go to the Super Bowl. In the first game, really big shocker, Philadelphia defeats San Francisco 31-7, but Brock Purdy, their quarterback, gets injured in the first quarter. So now they had a 4th-string quarterback to come in, so they easily lost that one. In the other game, which was the game of the night, it was Kansas City Chiefs, Cincinnati Bengals, and Patrick Mahomes scrambled for a first down on his badly sprained ankle. Then he was shoved late out of bounds, giving Harrison Butker a chance to kick a 45-yard field goal, 3 seconds remaining, and the Kansas City Chiefs win 23-20. It was a very, very close game. And Cincinnati Bengals lose for the first time to the KC Chiefs while Joey Burrows is at the helm. But now they get to their 3rd Super Bowl in 4 years. So let's see what happens there. Great game. That's going to be like the big matchup for the rest, I think, for the next 10 years. It's going to be Mahomes versus Burrows in the same conference. It's going to be awesome. So that is the second news. In third news, we have soccer. Real Madrid ties with Real Sociedad, which means what? They are now 5 points below Barcelona, and they're they could have been so much. They could have been at 3 points, but they tied the game instead of winning it, and Barcelona beat Girona 1-0. So now there's a 5-point spread. I believe Barcelona is at 47 points. And Real Madrid's at 42 points at the moment. Also, Liverpool in the FA Cup, they lose to Brighton and Hove Albion, right? In stoppage time in a thrilling 2-1 victory at the Amex Stadium. So there's some other news going on in soccer also. So there it is, guys. It's top 3 news in sports and top 3 news around the world. Hope it's something that you guys all are able to take in that news and be able to pray more for the world, especially in the world news there. Okay? So now that the time of news is over, what does that mean? Of course you know what that means. It is the golden time. And yes, it is the golden time, a time of praise and worship to the Holy Trinity. Hope all of you guys are looking forward to giving glory to God and the Holy Spirit. So, what are we going to praise and worship today? We're going to start off with, we have fulfilled the purpose of love, and then an oldie but a goodie, holding you in my embrace, and we'll end things off with the truth. So as one body of the Morning Star Drive, let's spend this time giving praise, honor, and glory to the Holy Trinity.
I'm happy if you're happy. The Trinity are happy too. That is all that matters. Since we found the path of life, now we can say time can keep flowing away. I'm on the way to heaven. We have fulfilled God's purpose of eternal love. In that golden heaven above, from the sunrise to the sunset, even as the moon begins to rise, even as the stars light up the night, we should go on serving God, serving the Holy Spirit. You and I should spend our days like this. I'm on the way to heaven. We have fulfilled God's purpose of eternal love. In that golden heaven above, from the sunrise to the sunset, even as the moon begins to rise, even as the stars light up the night, The light of truth is shining on me. I see my spirit's face shining so bright. The light of truth is renewing my heart. It's guiding me towards blessings and grace. This is the only path, and I'm surely on it. I see God waiting for me at the end. All I've gained, I have gained through the truth. Everlasting life, everlasting love. All I've gained, I have gained through the truth. Rapture of my spirit, my life as a bride. Jehovah's great light shines on the light of truth has conquered the world, and every other word is put to rest. The light of truth fulfilled in history. The greatest will of God has been fulfilled. This is the only path, and I'm surely on it. I see God waiting for me at the end. All I've gained, I have gained through the truth. Everlasting life, everlasting love. All I've gained, I have gained through the truth. Rapture of my spirit, my life as a bride. Jehovah's great light, His great light shines on me. His shining light, Jehovah's great glory shines so bright. His glory shines eternally. Jehovah's great light shines so bright. His brilliant and eternal light. Jehovah's great glory shines down.
Even if all disappears, God's perfect will lasts eternally. Jehovah's glorious light shines in this land, and we finally see that our dreams are fulfilled. Now we will shine for eternity, lighting the world with the truth, with the word that we preach. The word makes everything possible. A happy future is possible. Fixate characters possible. Now we will rapture impossibly high. We have gained everything, this path of truth. Always the word of truth, eternal word of truth.
We can do anything through truth. With the word we can win for sure. God's word flows on without end. So as we act, we will take flight and see miracles. All I've gained, I have gained through the truth. Everlasting life, everlasting love. All I've gained, I have gained through the truth. Rapture of my spirit, my life as a bride. All I've gained, I have gained through the truth. Everlasting life, everlasting love. All I've gained, I have gained through the truth. Rapture of my spirit, my life as a bride.
And that was With the Truth. Before that, Holding You in My Embrace. And of course, We Have Fulfilled the Purpose of Love. Hope all of you guys enjoyed that time of praise and worship to the Holy Trinity. And it's something that we can continuously do in our everyday lives. All right. So let's get into today's practical word study. And this is something that I think a lot of people are more and more getting, are liking this edition, where we can try to figure out ways that we can put the words of God into action for this week. This week's message, very, very powerful. It's about Jesus' resurrection in spirit, and how he's coming back in spirit too. And I think for the practical word study, this is something that's really one of the big and core important parts of our doctrine, which is resurrection and rapture, right? And one thing I do suggest as a practical thing, we do need to understand the resurrection really well to be able to defend it really well too. And I would say for the very, very first thing that you should do, especially when it comes to this week's message, and it gives us like so much information there that's very practical for us, is understand Jesus' resurrection as spiritual, which means memorize the 7 reasons why the resurrection is spiritual, including verses, right? And, even for me, sometimes I would look at what Sunseem said, or look at some of the reasons, and I would try to think of ways that people can refute me and how to answer those questions too. But definitely for you guys, if it's something that you haven't really done before, try to memorize the 7 reasons why the resurrection is spiritual. Memorize the verses, and think about it as a way that you will get yourself into a position where you know the words really, really well. Right? That's the level we want to get ourselves to, especially this week's message. In order to receive Jesus, we need to know him really well. We need to know the doctrines really well too. One of the things that I really liked from this week's Sunday message was the disciples didn't recognize Jesus physically, but they could recognize him through the words that were preached, right? And in the same way, I do believe that we have to know it this well also. So like even for me, when it comes to lecture training, one thing that I do that I think a lot of you guys should try is during my lecture training, I make a YouTube channel, and I make everyone record. It's a private channel, and everyone records themselves. Right? They record their like certain parts of lectures to practice on, and everyone else gets to watch it, right? And the reason why I do this, because studies show that to retain information, if you just listen to something, you'll retain only 10%. It's very, very low, right? If you listen and write it down, you retain 35%, so over 3.5 times. However, if you listen, write, and then teach someone else, it jumps to 85%. And this is why one of the things that you should be doing is telling other people about the things that you've learned, right? So, talk to someone at church, So what are the 7 reasons? And for me, of course, I've been lecturing for a long time, so I don't use all 7 reasons, but I think those 7 reasons are very, very good. So you can use it as a basis to start on. So let me give an example. That first one is 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 18, where Peter himself says that Jesus was made alive by the Spirit, but died in the body, but made alive by the Spirit, right? So I look at that and say, oh, here's Peter even himself saying that he understood that Jesus resurrected in spirit, right? And of course, like I said before, sometimes you want to look at what people refute, like Christians or people of the former faith can say that, well, the Spirit is a big S, so it's talking about the Holy Spirit that made him alive again, right? But then again, I would refute that with, well, look at verse 19. It says that after being made alive in spirit, he went to spiritual prisons. A spiritual place, not a physical place, a spiritual place. It was in spirit he was made alive. And if he went physically, then his body would not have been in the tomb, right? So there's someone in the tomb for 3 days and everyone's watching there and waiting. And then only the 3rd day was the body missing. But if the actual body went into the spiritual realm, don't you think that his body would be missing from the tomb too at that time if he actually made alive by the Spirit, right? And then also, the second, so you kind of get to see what it means to look at some of the, if people refute against you, right? Second reasoning was Acts chapter 22, verse, and for me, another tip, if it's too hard to memorize all the numbers, just memorize the chapter. Acts 22, because you can find it in Acts 22. It's very, very simple and easy. But Paul sees Jesus' Spirit, and Jesus' Spirit evangelizes him, so there's another one there. The third reason was if Jesus died on the cross and the body came back to life, then people would have recognized him right away. And of course, you'll see like in John chapter 20, verse 15, Mary doesn't recognize Jesus after only 3 days. And, there's a good reasoning is sometimes at church, we don't see each other for a week, but we still recognize each other. Even if someone gains weight, we still recognize each other, right? In John 21, verse 4, the disciples couldn't recognize him. In Luke 24, verse 15, 16, the disciples couldn't recognize him there. So if it was physical, then why did the disciples recognize him, right? The fourth reasoning over there is about, and here I've kind of switched things up because some things kind of like, for me, when I teach it, I put them together. But I'm just kind of giving you an idea of the things you should memorize, right? So that any given moment, you'll be able to tell people, this is one of our core doctrines. Now let me teach you about this, right? So Jesus stayed back for 40 days before he ascended, right? So shouldn't everyone seen his body? But a verse I'd put in is 1 Corinthians 15:6. And it says only 500 believers. But only believers saw Jesus. And I'd be like, well, if they already believe, wouldn't it be better for him to meet the non-believers so that they can all come to salvation too? Right? Doesn't he especially want to save those that don't believe? Right? And then, of course, you could put in the reasoning, like I would have connected that to, he should have gone back to his mother. He should have seen at least those types of people too. But even here it says only believers saw him, which is kind of weird because if you were a Jew that religiously that really wanted to know if Jesus was the Christ and he really resurrected, wouldn't it be so weird that if every time someone says they saw Jesus, you go there and like, oh, he just vanished, right? Like it's like why only believers, right? And another one I would put in is can the body just disappear? And like Luke 24:31, the road to Emmaus. They break bread with him, and then he just disappears. John chapter 20, verse 26, just disappears. And if anything, guys, when it comes to these types of reasoning, I would say just memorize John chapter 20, not the whole chapter, just memorize John 20 and Luke 24. And in those two chapters, you're going to have a lot of these parts where you're going to look at and say, oh my gosh, you can find a lot of the reasonings from these 7 different reasons why it's a spiritual resurrection, right? So I kind of put something together and such, but for you guys to go ahead, check it out. The first thing I would definitely do is, how well do you know the spiritual resurrection? Can you explain it well? Are you someone that just heard it once and said, oh, okay, I get it now? So all you have is a concept in your head, but you don't really understand why. You can't explain it to anyone else either. But I would say, guys, listen to it, write notes, listen to it again, write notes, and then try to teach it to someone. Memorize those verses, and I know that from that point on, you'll be much more clear and understand much more deeply about the spiritual resurrection too. Right, so that's the first thing I would say. The second thing that I would probably tell you guys to do, it's still more biblical too, is look at the lecture of the comparison of Jesus and Elijah's ascent and advent. The reason I would bring up this lesson is especially because we understand the principle of repeating history, right? So Jesus was not the first person to ascend and advent. He was actually the second person because the first one was Elijah, right? And this is one of the cool things is we get to see repeating history that someone actually came back again before Jesus did, right? So Jesus and Elijah had very, very similar paths. But the part we'll focus on, we're not going to talk about everything, just the part of the ascent and the advent. All right. So both were prophesied to come back, and both ascended into heaven. So if you look at like a couple things that are kind of cool is the last book of the Old Testament is Malachi. And in the last book, the last chapter, Malachi chapter 4, verse 5 and 6, it talks about the return, the second coming of Elijah. Same thing about the New Testament. Revelations, which is the last book, chapter 22, which is the last chapter, same thing. Jesus will come back again. So it leaves, because it's at the very, very end of the Testaments, it leaves an expectation that someone is coming back. Okay, so let's first take a look at the ascension into heaven. So, and this is very, very similar to Acts chapter 1, verse 9 through 11 that's the scriptures for this week. But look at 2 Kings chapter 2, verses 11, and basically it says that Elijah ascended into heaven. And the hint that it's a spiritual thing is in verse 10, where Elisha requests to be 2 times more spiritually powerful than Elijah. And in verse 10, Elijah says, if you see me, take it from you, right? So if it's physical, there's no if. You just see someone go up into heaven. However, if means that it's not a physical occurrence and you have to be seen spiritually. So, if there's physical, It just happens. It doesn't make a difference. Everyone's going to see it. But the reason why he said if is because it's a spiritual occurrence, right? And even with the band of prophets that were together with them, in verse 16, they didn't even know what was going on either. Like, oh, maybe he was taken up and dropped off somewhere else, right? Kind of thing, right? So they had no idea where Elijah was or didn't even see it. That is parallel to Acts chapter 1, verse 9 through 11. And was it a physical or spiritual occurrence? Well, the hint that it's spiritual was in verse 9, he goes up into heaven. And verse 10, all of a sudden, appearing out of nowhere, two angels, right? These spiritual beings appear. And we know it's spiritual because they weren't with them before. It's just when he ascends, boom, there you are, the two angels. Angels are spiritual beings. And when you understand this, we're going to say like, oh, okay, so it means at that point, their spiritual eyes were open because they were able to see spiritual angels, which means they saw Jesus go up spiritually, okay? So those are the two that compare the ascent. Now the return, Elijah's return was in Luke chapter 1 verse 17. Gabriel the archangel prophesies about John the Baptist and says he will go out in the spirit and power of Elijah. So not in the body, but the spirit and power. It's very, very spiritual. And in the same way too, Acts chapter 1 verse 11, what did the angels say? He'll come back in the same way. So if you saw him go up spiritually, just because we saw angels, so it means our spiritual eyes are open. We understand he went up spiritually and he'll come back spiritually, all right? So even in that, we get just understanding the concept of repeating history and understanding the comparison of Jesus and Elijah's ascent and advent. We get a much better idea of what will happen when it comes to Jesus's ascent and advent. It already happened before, so it's not something that we've never seen. Right? So I hope that, with these two practical things, those are the two things that I would really, really get myself into. Number one, like I said, look at those 7 reasons why Jesus' resurrection was spiritual. Memorize them plus the verses. It becomes a powerful tool for you to help yourself, remind yourself why it's true, and also be able to teach others about that also. I would find someone else who also wants to do the same thing as you, where you guys can talk to each other and discuss and teach each other these points. And of course, the second thing, I would definitely look into the comparison of Jesus and Elijah's ascent and advent, right? And that would be the two things that I would really, really look at as something that you could do practically with this week's word. If you want to take a look at the comparison, go ahead, check out my Patreon. Has both of those lectures on it too. So if you need any help with those things, just let me know because I have everything on there. Okay? So there it is, guys. That is a practical word study for today. I hope it's something that you guys really enjoyed. Helps you guys to put the words of God into action or do something that will help you to understand the words even better. Okay? So now that the word study is done, let's get into today's last GGG. It's day 31. We're doing it for the entire month of January. And I really wanted someone from the Philippines, and I was able to, well, let me tell you what happened. I was looking in SoundCloud, and I was following this group called, this channel called Love Songs for the Lord, and I was like, oh, it's from the Philippines, and I was listening to it. I really liked the music, and I was like, man, these are really, really good songs, and this is like a 5-6-year-old channel, and I was like, man, who's in charge of this? So I found out there's someone in charge of it from the Philippine church, right? And it was someone named Trina Yabut. And I was like, hey, I love this channel. And they're like, oh, can I play some? Oh, let me go ask the people if you can play these songs. Like, yeah, that'd be great. It'd be great if you guys continue to make even more music on this. And as we were talking, I was like, I kind of said, well, Trina, do you do music? And she's like, oh, yeah, I do music too. And I was like, let's play a song, a meaningful song that you wrote yourself. And she said, oh, there's this song that you could play. She gave me the whole explanation. This song is called, I believe it's called I'm Sorry. Whoops, one second. Let me grab this here. It says, I'm Sorry, My Lord. Okay, I'm Sorry, My Lord is the name of the song. And I said, so how did you come up with this? It says, this is a song that was actually written in 2013. And it was when she was a newcomer. And during that time, all the messages were about repentance, repent, say sorry for all the things that you've done bad. And as being a newcomer at that time, there's a lot of things she had to repent for. And she comes from the Catholic background, so she wanted to make this song, at least the first few verses, applicable to anyone with faith, whether you're Catholic, Christian, Protestant, whatever it is, that everyone listens and say, oh, this applies to me. So that's why the Lord can refer to God, Jesus, the Holy Son, whatever it is. But later in the song, you're going to hear that it's about this time period, and it's a song for her personal transition from being a child to becoming a bride of God. And the arrangement, which is really cool, inspired by 90s rock, which is my generation. Well, I'm from 80s rock, but 90s rock. And because she wanted to especially express regret and internal struggle through the guitar sounds. And you can hear a lot of this, and those of you guys who know the 90s rock era, there's like the grunge era too, and you can hear that feeling of regret and internal struggle from guitar sounds. So that's something that she really wanted to talk about. Her artist name is Cotaria. I'm not sure if I said that right, but Cotarea. And this is kind of the first time she's kind of bringing her songs in as with her artist name. I don't think anyone in her church knows that she is an independent artist, right? But on SoundCloud, she has a channel named Cotaria. And go ahead, go check her out on SoundCloud. Cotaria is Cotarea. Not sure what that means, but I'm sure someone is going to comment on what Cotaria actually means. But really, really happy. This is the first time her song is going to come out. It's called I'm Sorry, My Lord. This is from Trina Yabut or Cotaria from the Philippines. Everyone, hope you guys enjoy on this last day of giving glory to the Holy Trinity.
I'm sorry, my Lord. You sacrificed your whole life for me. You carried the cross and repented in behalf of me. You have done more than enough. You endured all pain to set my spirit free. The least that I should do is pray and do all the work I must do to fulfill your will. I'm sorry, my Lord. You worked so hard, but I couldn't do my part. I thought that I loved you enough, but the truth is that I don't clearly know your heart. For my own thoughts and all those times that I made excuses and caused you so much grief. For all those times I fell towards the world, dear Lord. Oh, cleanse my spirit, please. I'm sorry, my Lord. You sacrificed your own life for me. You carried the cross and repented in behalf of me. For all those times I doubted you and I couldn't give the love you deserve from me. For not take us to heaven. Out of love, you sacrificed completely.
And there it is, the last song of GGG January, and I hope that you guys really enjoyed that. That was Trina Yabut from the Philippines. Her singer name is Coteria. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have, go ahead, go to SoundCloud, find Coteria, and you can follow her there too. And she's an independent songwriter also, so you can go check out some of her other songs that she has right now. I'm sure she'll really appreciate it too. So super grateful, thankful all of you guys out there. If you have any more music, I would love to hear it. I really would. So any of you guys who out there who are kind of like wanted to start singing and stuff, go ahead, send me your music. Would love to hear it too. Okay, so there it is, guys. That is the GGG for this last day of January, which leads us into the final section of Provi in the media. And there's not a huge amount to report, but I just want to kind of remind everyone of the situation that we're in at the moment. Of course, next trial date is February 13th, January. They took the time off. It's a very, very busy month in Asia with like Lunar New Year and stuff like that too. And It happened a lot earlier this month, so instead of being in usually in February or March, it was in January this year. So either way, February 13th is the trial date, and a couple of things that we are waiting for to see happening at this trial is the witnesses are going to be making their depositions, and I believe there's almost 20 witnesses, including the people accusing. Right, so I do think the person from Hong Kong will be doing her deposition also, but from what I heard from the articles, she will be doing a polygraph test. So that is something we really need to pray for. I did talk about, if anything, we need to pray for the truth to come, to come out. Also, on top of it, we know that the role of the judge, and we heard about the role of the judge about, I think, last week or the week before, and how lawyers start as judges, as weird as that sounds, right? So they're starting as judges, and the lawyers are actually higher than the judges. Like the judges have less experience than the lawyers themselves. And after a judge retires, then they'll start going into becoming a lawyer. And more than all the other, the thing that's very, very different is the lawyers and the judges are kind of more like all on the same side. All the lawyers and the judges together. Like they're kind of in their fraternity of lawyers and judges or people of the law. So we really need to pray for the lawyers, for the prosecution, for all the lawyers, but especially for the judge too. The judge does have a lot of power also, but he's more of like a mediator during that time. But let's really, really pray that God can make great and amazing miracles happen during this time. We really have to look at, we're not sure how many more of these trial dates are going to be. Most likely at least one more after this February, which means it'll go into March, possibly April, depending on what actually happens. And then we'll get a verdict. And then, of course, there's going to be an appeal. And then most likely it'll go all the way to the Supreme Court. But another thing that we have to keep in mind and we need to pray for is March 3rd is the day where the Netflix show comes out, right? Where I believe one of the accusers is going to be on there. It's not going to be just about Providence, so I believe it's going to be about multiple different churches and such. And they're going to talk about different churches, not just Providence. And I don't even think we're going to be the main one either. But that is something that we're going to... it's going to be pretty, it's going to be like, what do you call it? Publicity-wise, it's not going to be very good. I'm not sure how many people are actually going to watch it, but let's see what actually happens. Personally, myself, I do want to watch it just to report about it here. If you guys are kind of a little bit sensitive to these types of things, you can wait for me to talk about it when I bring it to. When I talk about it when it comes to, I'll bring it to the podcast and just give you a summary of what was on it. But even for myself, I've heard of the audio, and I know where the audio comes from also, and what the context of the audio is. So that is something that we do have to understand before we listen to it too. So if you just listen to it without knowing anything can be made to look really, really bad, right? And what we need to understand is like, let's take a look at it in context, knowing all the information first before we make any judgments or before we start reacting to it. And I think that's another good thing. And as I talked about the last couple of weeks, we're going to hear a bunch of rumors. We're going to hear rumors and gossip and all these things come out, and people like we know, maybe we're even close to, are going to say things to us. We're like, whoa, I didn't know about this. And because that's something that this year, it's going to be a lot of this stuff coming out. One thing I do hope is that all of us will stay reasonable and rational. That will really get our hearts and our minds thinking in the right way. And we'll really not make any judgments or make any reactions until we get full information. Yes, things are made, especially from the media, it's made to look at its worst, to get more and more people to watch the news. But most importantly is, we want to be those that understand it in full context. All right? So I really, really hope that all of us will get that heart and that minds to think and to be able to judge things properly as more and more information comes out, and understand where the news comes from too, right? So is it going to be from a very biased, unbiased view, and who is telling you this? And we're going to hear some more stuff coming out, right? Like probably more people are going to start to accuse, and more people are going to start to say more things about it too. But we have to be those that stay strong in our hearts and our minds, and just wait for full context and wait for all the stuff to come out until the very end. Okay, so very, very grateful, thankful, all of us, Lord, that God has really helped us and kept us strong until this point right now. And I hope that everyone really prays about this in such a way that we will be able to, come before God, like when everything passes. Like I said, this is a world where everything eventually ends, right? So things are going to end. This trial is going to end. All the things are going to end. Even public perception is going to end. But in the very, very end, we can stand proudly in front of God, in front of the Holy Trinity, the man of mission, and just say, hey, I was with you. I was with you from the very beginning. And we understand what was happening. And we knew from the very beginning, of course, these things are going to come out and Satan's going to attack through ignorant people and stuff like that too. And we were there with you from the very beginning. And we waited and waited. Yeah, no matter how bad it got, we waited to see the final result, right? What was really truth, right? So this is something I hope that everyone really has their hearts and minds to think about more clearly. And brace yourself, right? Brace yourself. We're gonna hear a bunch of things. And brace yourselves, be strong, be steady. Find people you can pray with. Find people where you can get clear answers and clear information. And we'll really, really be able to get ourselves in a position where no matter what happens, we'll not shake. And no matter what happens, we'll be strong, making ourselves for this history as brides. Okay? So it is quite short, but this is something that I did want to kind of remind everyone. We got to keep it in our prayers. It might not be the thing in the forefront of everything that we do. We got our work to do. We have our missions. We have newcomers. We have to lecture, teach, all these other different things. But we can't get this out of our minds. It has to be something where when it comes to prayer time, we are praying about this every single day. All right? So there it is, guys. That is Provi the Media for today. Just kind of a recap and reminder of the things we need to pray for. And I hope it's something that will help you guys out and reminds us to pray for these things too. All right? So there it is, guys. That is the end of today's podcast. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. And I hope that everyone is going to be praying more and more each day, not only for the world, repenting for the world, but also for the situation when Sunseem's in. And everyone have an amazing and awesome Tuesday. And we'll see you guys again tomorrow on the Morning Star Drive on 117.8.
It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion. Nobody can stop me when I'm like this. I got my head in the zone, I'm on the Morning Star